Hey, this is Ronald Carroll from MidAmericanDreamers.org, and today I'm coming to you from MAD University, where we are going to learn how to create a simple but effective horror movie video trailer using your own customized videos, images, whatever you want. So this is an example of how it should go, but do your thing. Okay, let's get started. So I went to pexels.com to get my video clips, but you can go wherever you want to go. I typed in horror, scary, Halloween, and I found these clips. I also provide a link below to those clips. And my wallpaper I got from, I'm not sure where, but I also provided a link below for my SATANIC wallpaper. Now, for my fonts, I use the DevilNet and UMurderer. For UDevilNet, I went to thefont.com and I typed the DevilNet and I downloaded that to my downloads directory or download directory in Windows, and then I installed it to my C Windows/fonts directory. Then once I did that, I went into that directory, and then I had to find my WONDERSHARE/fonts directory. So it might be in your C programs file. Mine's in my D on my D drive, and I found that fonts directory. So I copied the new fonts over into my WonderShare directory. And UMurderer I got from, again, 1001fonts.com, and I downloaded that and I rinsed and repeated that process. And since I had Filmora currently open, I closed it and then reopened it. Now this is our goal, to create these type of intro text. So figure out what text you want and then we'll get started. Okay, so I'm sure you have your text ready and your videos. So let's start by clicking on titles, and let's click on default, and let's bring that down, make it a little bigger. Now we're going to make sure we change the font size. I chose 44 here, but pick what you want. Now find your font. I chose, again, UMurderer, and choose whatever font you picked from the two options I gave you. Type it in and move it over to your left. Okay, once it's set, now we want to go and create a shadow or a background drop shadow. I made mine gray. You can pick whatever you want. It just goes good with the red I'm going to put behind this. So you'll see what I mean. Change your distance a little bit, blur it up, play with your settings. I chose evaporate, and play with this if you like, and let's see what it looks like. Okay, so we got the basics down. Let's check it out in full screen here. Okay, so now we want to add some red to the background. So we're going to go over to media, colors, and pick from our sample colors. We're going to choose red, put it on top. Now we need to go to compositing and we need to change it to multiply. Again, play with these settings. I'm going to give you some general ideas, but to really own this and know how to do it again, and not just this particular project, you need to change it so it becomes yours, and because you did it and you thought your way through it, so you know how to think your way through your next project. Okay, let's go ahead and slap a dissolve on here. It looks okay. So now I'm going to copy this because I'm going to use this text to put in my second group of text, which is based on a true story, which goes to the on the top to the right. Okay, so I'm going to move this text over now down the timeline, and then I'm going to change it to based on true events, and then move it up and over to the right and make it smaller. Then I'm going to copy this text again by clicking Control Alt C as in cat and Control Alt V as in victory. I'm going to move that text up to make room for the bottom text, and I'm going to change this to my movie title. First I'll change the font size, and then I'll go find the DevilNet font and pick whatever font you chose from the two links I gave you or the ones you have on your own, and move that up so I can make room for the bottom for rest text. I'm going to copy and paste that and bring it over, and then I'm going to choose evaporate as my animation and check that out. Okay. Now, if I were doing this for a client, I would take that cross, pop it out, make it into a ping, and I would use keyframing, and I will make it turn upside down. I'll show you that a little bit later. And then I would change the color. In the demo that I saw, that's what it did. I thought that was kind of cool. So make that cross pop out and flip upside down and change the color. That would be pretty cool. Okay, so to add some effects, I'm going to add old video. I'm going to dial it down a little bit and then check out what that looks like. Okay, it's okay. And then we're going to add a little chaos, but we're going to turn it down a lot. But I advise you to play around with different effects just to see what it looks like and make this your own. All right, let's check that out and see what that looks like. A little jumpy there. Okay. So now we're going to bounce this. This way you don't have so many fouls on your screen. When you move to the next phase, make sure you put it up to 60 frames per second and high quality. So this way if you speed it up or slow it down, the quality will still be there. Okay, so we're going to start with our first scene. Now the first thing I did was remove the guy walking because it just didn't make sense. But I also made a few other changes which I'll talk about as we go along. And again, this is not a step-by-step. I want you to do your thing. But what I did was I brought back in my text that I bounced out earlier. I sped it up, I think eventually to ×2 because it was just way too slow. Now my video assets came from pexels.com, and there's a link below. You could go with what I did or go with the zombie, just go strictly zombie and change it up a little bit, but have fun. And I did find the wallpaper, and it was wallpapercave.com. And the image I used was the reddish image down below. And there's a link below to the wallpaper here. But you can also use video as well. All my sound is from Epidemic Sound via subscription. I put a 30-day link below to a free subscription, so you can download all the songs and the sound effects that I used, or go get your own. But I did list that below as well too. So what I want to do here is make sure I remove the sound and move the clip up so I can bring background clip below it, and so I can see through it. So I need to change the video as well to screen on the compositing. So I'm going to move it up. I'm going to remove any sound in that clip and go to compositing and change it to screen. And then I'm going to bring in my image and stretch it out, and that should take care of that. Now we're going to bring in our cinema 21.9, to give it a cinematic look. And I started this at 0.25, then I went to 0.40, then I went to 0.50. I was just playing around with different settings to see what it looked like. But 0.50 is where you want to go, maybe a little bit wider. Then I started bringing in various clips. Again, bring in whatever clips you want here. But the twins, I thought that clip was too long, and I always want to make sure that I crop my all my video clips to fit. And then I sped it up a little bit because I wanted them to pop in when the thunder came or when a certain sound came in, and then pop out, almost ghostly. Now the crosses, I want them to be small in the upper left corner and the bottom right corner, and I wanted the lower one to slide in, and I wanted the top one to do a 360. So I'm adjusting my border heights. Sutro is the effect that I apply to every single clip. And when it came to color matching, I tried to match up to this road here because it was just the best color with the Sutro effect applied. So I matched that color up with every clip in the video as well. You can just copy and paste those effects once you get them into one the way you want them. What I want to do now is bring in some sound to kind of bring it together. So I brought in my first thunderclap and a Pile of Bones song track. And this allows me to start to get a feel for what I'm doing. Okay, so now I want to make the twins look more ghostly, so I'm going to add a dissolve across that clip. And what I want to also do is animate the crosses, so I want the one on the bottom to slide right, and I'm going to vortex the one on top. You can also keyframe it, which is what I did, but you can vortex it as well. It looks pretty cool. We're going to render that. And now we can add more video clips. So what story I want to tell here is a witch walking away. We summon her back, and then she walks back really fast. So we're going to add our effects here. We're going to make sure we crop to fit. We're going to color match it, and then we're just going to go ahead and pop it in. So that's my witch walking away. Now we're going to add the hand above her that summons her back. And don't worry about the compositing because we end up changing that to hard light. Now we're going to bring in the witch, and she's walking toward us. So we're going to add the effects to this and speed it up, but she's walking too much, and she's not walking fast enough. We're also going to apply the Wooten effect to the witch and all the close-up faces. So the hand, we need to take the hand and we need to hard light this and bring it down to between 50 and 60%. The witch, again, she walks too much, so what we're going to do with the witch is we're going to stop her about right there, and we're going to cut it, and then we'll pop her back in. We want her to look a little scarier. To apply the Wooten effect. So now we're going to bring in the house we're trying to run to, and we're going to bring in the clown that pops out en route to that house, and then we're going to bring in our feet and our sounds of our feet just running faster. So we're going to hard light this and speed it up, because eventually we're going to add, the heavy breathing and other things and sound effects to this in the second video. So now the timing there wasn't correct. What you want is to have the clown pop out, and then you run faster. So let's go ahead and correct that. But first, what I want to do is I want to color match the forest here, but I want to bring in some color above the witch's head. I need to fill that blank space too with something, so we're going to fill that up with something. And I want to add some color like this and make it look like more of a black and white and a color picture. And we're going to apply that throughout. and get a better effect there. And change our timing so that hopefully clown pops out and then we run. A little better. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut the audio here, and we're going to see what we have, see what it looks like. So we need to fill that space right there. You don't want blank space. And we also need to fill the space above the witch's head right here. Okay, so it looks like I timed that out okay. So now we need to put an image in the trees there. We're going to bring in this ominous moon and put that up there. And we're going to, of course, apply a heart light to that. And we're going to bring in this clown-looking guy and put him in there. Well, let's see what this looks like with the moon. Okay, and there's the clown-looking guy. So we're going to apply dissolve here to make it a little bit smoother and blend it a little bit better. We're going to add dissolve, and then we're going to match up the colors, of course. We need to also apply our effects as well, suture and the other effects. So make sure we have consistency throughout. We're going to move this down because now we're going to bring in this guy and pop him up here. We need to also trim this clip about right there. I actually ended up cutting another 50% off this in the final video. And again, these are just ideas and how I did it. You know, hopefully you're doing it your way. Let's bring him over and pop him in where we want him to appear. We'll shorten it up. Then, of course, we're going to apply hard light to everything as well as the effects. And that looks a lot better with the guy blended in into the background of the trees in the forest. And apply our effects here. Render that. Apply those effects. Again, just copy, paste, Control, Alt, and C to copy. And Control, Alt, V as in victory to delete. We're going to bring these down one. And we're going to remove the dissolve from the crosses. Now I want to place a flash on the twins and change their composite to screen. So it flashes when they appear. Let's see how that looks. Okay, so that looks okay. So now we're going to add some VCR distortion here because I want to use that as a dreamy type sequence. I want to dial this down a lot to about 10. I'm also going to use this as I leave the forest and enter the house. I'm going to put a little delay grab on the witch here and dial that down. We also need to speed up the last running sequence where he's running away. So I want to add a little chaos to that too and speed that up. So it looks, you know, like there's more panic going on there. So we're going to add that. We're going to tune it down a little bit. And these are the suture and the chaotic settings I have. Kind of turn those down a little bit, tune them down. And then I'm going to render that, of course, and make sure it looks okay. Never know what's going to happen. Let's take a look at that. This is going to be the end of the actual forest scene. Okay, thanks for watching. This is actually part 1, but this is part 2 right here on the screen. I'm sure you can apply the same effects and bring in your own videos and do this yourself. If not, let me know. I can do a how-to as well on this. But thanks again for watching, and have a great day, and happy creating. Okay, so in the actual final version, I did make a few changes, and this is what those changes look like. And I moved things around a little bit. I got rid of a few things, but pretty much the same. But I did, again, make some minor changes. Find out more at midamericandreamers.org.